No matter how much you're saving, it is not enough.
8 different ways you can make passive income.
Passive income.
Passive income.
Passive income. Passive income.
Passive income.
I retired early at age 29.
How to start a passive income business. So if you're starting from zero, this is what you're going to do.
We have seen these videos. There are thousands of them with lakhs of views, and they all sell you the same dream. Save aggressively, invest consistently, make money while you sleep, achieve FIRE by 40. And honestly, most of them are not even lying. But there's a catch. You see, somewhere between 2014 and 2026, the same equation that worked for them started working against people like you and me. But we kept believing the old math because we love the dream more than the reality. So today we will unwire the maths that nobody shows you in those videos, the 5 shifts that changed Indian middle class finances, and why financial freedom in India now needs a new strategy, not just discipline. To understand the theatrics of it all, we want you to meet someone first. This is Arjun and his wife, Sheila, a double income single kid couple. Even though we have made this character, you and I see them every day. Arjun earns an annual salary of 42 lakhs per annum. This is what their asset investment portfolio looks like. By every metric, Arjun has won in life. He earns roughly 4 times than what his father earned at the same age in the same city. Yet, he feels poorer than his father did. So now let's calculate Arjun's retirement corpus using real math, not the one we see in those videos. So, his general lifestyle, which is rent, food, transport, utilities, leisure, EMIs, etc. The monthly expenses come around 1,80,000 rupees. And the inflation rate is 6%. His child's education coming around 40,000 rupees. The inflation rate is 11%.
On the healthcare and insurance, the monthly expense is 20,000 rupees and the inflation is 14%.
And finally, the miscellaneous parents' emergencies. The monthly expenses come around 40,000 rupees and the inflation 6%. So his total monthly expenses is around 2.8 lakh rupees. So let's enter that first. Arjun is currently 34 years old and he wants to retire at 45, which means he has only 11 years left to build his retirement corpus. Now this is where most people make the biggest mistake. You see, most FIRE videos assume a flat 4 to 6% inflation rate, but what they don't account for is the rising education and healthcare inflation. So now instead of blindly assuming everything inflates at 6%, we calculate what Arjun's actual lifestyle inflation looks like.
Real lifestyle inflation equals general expenses into general inflation plus education expenses into education inflation plus healthcare expenses into healthcare inflation divided by total monthly expenses.
If you do this, the inflation becomes 7.3%. But why is this important? It's mostly for 2 reasons. Life doesn't inflate at one rate anymore. With your portfolio, your expenses also keep compounding. If you assume just the general inflation rate at 4 to 6%, Arjun's current monthly expenses of 2.8 lakhs per month and rupees 33.6 lakhs per year becomes around rupees 52 lakhs per year or 4.3 lakhs per month at age 45. But that is without factoring in the other unavoidable inflation rates. But if we consider those, the numbers change dramatically. Now at a weighted inflation rate of 7.3%, Arjun's current monthly expense is 2.8 lakh rupees per month would become around 6.08 lakh rupees per month. That's 3.3% in inflation rate. May feel small at first, but when you apply that in your retirement corpus calculations, your FIRE number changes by crores. So to maintain the same lifestyle he has today, Arjun needs roughly 18 crores by age 45. 18 crores. So to retire at 45 and live the same life he lives today, Arjun doesn't need to be just financially successful. He needs to be somewhere at the top of the wealth pyramid. But that is only if he does the math right, because the rules changed on him in 2014 and nobody sent him the updated rule book. So what changed? So let's go one at a time. 1. In 2005, a person earning rupees 5 lakh per annum could buy a 2 BHK property worth 20 lakhs in a city like Bengaluru with roughly 4 years of income. Today, that same dream costs a person nearly 21 years of his income. Let's take Arjun's case, who earns higher than the average. Even the math doesn't add up. And here's why. Even if real estate prices in most cities have shot up, rental yield hasn't. So, for a flat that Arjun pays rupees 1.4 lakhs per month in EMI at a 9% interest rate, he'll only get rupees 35,000 per month as rent with rental yield of less than 3%. Today, for most Indians, owning a house of their own is still more of an aspirational goal than an investment. But is it a practical choice mathematically? Because even if we consider a rupees 45 to 50,000 monthly rent, the rental yield would still be under 3%. That's abysmal. Even a decent FD pays back higher than that. Hence, the gap between cash outflow and cash inflow has significantly widened, thus shifting real estate as an investment to real estate as consumption, from the house that pays you to the house that owns you. 2. Here, it gets more relatable. The companies you work for are running faster than the hair, while your salary is hardly even crawling. Between 2020 and 2024, profits of India's top listed companies grew at nearly 34.5% CAGR, but salaried wages during the same period grew at just minus 0.07%. In fact, real wages for salaried urban men actually fell by 6.7%. So India's GDP is growing, corporate profits are growing, stock markets are growing, but the middle class salary, the thing most Indians depend on, has almost frozen. 3. Nearly half your salary is gone before it even arrives. And no, it's not being stolen, it's you who is giving it away. According to a 2025 Perfios PwC study, the average salaried Indian already spends 33% of monthly income on EMIs. For higher earners like Arjun, that number rises to 45%. In fact, India's biggest iPhone buyers are young salaried professionals buying the iPhone on EMI, stretching payments across 12, 18 or even 24 months. So before rent, food, fuel or savings, nearly half the salary is already committed to the past. The flat, the car, the credit card bills, the no-cost EMI that absolutely had a cost. And RBI data now shows that more than half of household borrowing in India is no longer for building assets. It's for consumption. Which means the Indian middle class isn't borrowing to build wealth anymore. We are borrowing to consume. 4. India's medical inflation is running at nearly 13 to 14% every year, one of the highest in Asia. At that rate, a surgery costing 4 lakh rupees today could cost 8 lakh rupees in 5 years. For Arjun, a critical illness treatment that costs 15 lakh rupees today will cost 29 lakh rupees by the time he turns 39. And the best part about healthcare today, your salary does not compound at 14%, but your medical expenses do. And the moment you leave your job, the corporate health insurance protecting you disappears with it. Which means for most middle-class Indians, retirement is no longer just a question of wealth creation. It's a question of whether your savings can survive one major medical emergency. That's where most FIRE plans take a hit. But the bigger question is, if building that kind of corpus through a normal salaried life is becoming mathematically harder every year, then how are some people still managing to escape the rat race? What these people are doing differently than those stuck in the rat race? Here's what we found. They chose decouplable work over passive income. The passive income burden to earn 2.4 lakh rupees per month passively. You need an 8 crore rupee portfolio. The decouplable leverage, but to earn 2.4 lakh rupees per month, you only need 20 hours per month of consulting at 12,000 rupees an hour. So 20 hours of expert work replaces an 8 crore rupee corpus easily and also buys your time back. 2. They build 3 buckets, not one big pile. Successful retirees use the Saraugi Pattabiraman bucket strategy to make failure post-retirement mathematically impossible. The small bucket, 1 to 3 years of expenses in liquid funds, FDs, purpose, daily survival, immune to market volatility. Number 2, the medium bucket, income, 5 to 10 years of expenses in debt, funds, bonds, purpose, refills the small bucket when it runs low. The growth bucket, the remaining 60 to 70% in index international funds, purpose, 10 plus years compounding, never touched during crashes. 3, they bought health cover before they needed it. As we know, the medical inflation in India is 14%, and that one illness can wipe out 20 years of compounding. These people prioritized health before everything else. The age gap at 32, a 50 lakh rupee policy costs 15,000. At 50, after one diagnosis, it can cost 62,000 plus rupees. That is if you aren't rejected. So the strategy should be to lock in a personal base plus super top-up policy while healthy. Treat the premium as a non-negotiable survival tax. To escape the rat race by his early 40s, Arjun shouldn't look for a single number. He should look for this equilibrium where financial freedom is equal to survival corpus plus decouplable skill plus lock-in healthcare. So the Indians who escaped it did not earn passively, they earned optimally. They built a safety net strong and big enough to make work a choice. And then they kept working, but on their own terms. That's not a thumbnail. That is a real, practical approach towards life. So we want you to go back to the first 3 questions we asked at the beginning of this video and ask yourself, are we actually aiming too big? Or are we trying to achieve a 2010 dream in a messed up 2026 economy?